right, and we are live. Welcome back, Recliner Sports Reporters, to
What's up,
another
everybody?
week's episode of Keep the Change podcast with Mac and Robbie. Robbie, how you doing, buddy?
Man, Cavs let me down tonight. It was a rough night on my DraftKings and FanDuel account.
Yeah, what
Uh,
happened? What happened to the Cavs, man?
Anytime you see Isaac Okoro three pointers at .5 over or under, that's just easy money on the over.
Dude, so what did he finish at?
Yeah, I mean he only hit one, but he's pretty consistent. He hits one probably 80+% of the time. And man, as you know, betting, if you're going to get 8 out of 10 hits, you'll take that.
That's, dude, I mean, gambling is such a statistically driven concept. Like, you have to think, like, yeah, 80%. You got to take it,
I
right?
mean, he may shoot 3, 4 a game. He may hit one or two, but 8 out of 10 times, he's at least going to get you that one, and that's all it takes to get paid.
Literally, just the, I mean, yeah. And you know what? I was just talking with my buddy Garrett about this. We were out at Sidelines over here in Salem. So many times recently, it's just been like a half a point, 1 point away. And you're like, that is gambling in a nutshell. Just a half a point, just a 1 point. Like
I thought I went crazy today. I had 4 different 10+ leg parlays on the Cavs game. The most that I missed it, any of them by, was I had the Cavs winning straight up. They let me down there on one.
I had the Cavs too. I'm not gonna lie, I was let down by that one too. I thought y'all had it.
I needed one more assist from Garland. I needed 6 assists from Garland, and I needed Mitchell to get me 20 points. That would have hit
Ugh.
4 different parlays right there off of just those. But yeah,
That's gambling, bro. That's gambling. Now I'll tell you what, I had a little fun tonight over at the so you know Keno. Keno's in Ohio, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
so there's a new thing that came out at the bar here. It's called the wheel. All right. It is roulette, but you fill out like a Keno slip and you like put your numbers and your bets in, and then me and my buddy, we played Keno for like 20 games. We won $0. So we're down 20 bucks off the rip just on Keno slips. And then we see this new the wheel. And so we're like, okay, we end up going up plus 20 just off of 2 games. And we were like, what? So he had red 12. He took red 12 for Tom Brady. I took red 9 for Joe Burrow. Both those numbers hit on the
That's
like
awesome.
the wheel. So highly suggest. I don't know if that's an Ohio thing or just up here in Mass, but look up
I've heard
the
the wheel
wheel.
yet.
Way better odds than Keno. I love Keno. There's such a rush with those numbers, but I'm just no good at it. All right,
Yeah,
buddy. Well, we had some wild championship weekend games, my friend. Some heartbreakers and some just really just letdowns in terms of what you thought the game was going to be like, although the under did still hit in that Eagles game. Um,
One fantastic game of football. No, neither of us like the outcome of it, but
Great game, though.
great game. Can't ask for more as a fan of the game of football.
No, right?
The other game though was on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. If you weren't an Eagles fan, that game was boring to
And
watch.
you know what? And I'll get to this when we get later on, but the outcome of that game makes me feel like what we were saying before, that those boys in Philly are going to be able to pull it off this year. So let's
Yep.
start with that game, man. That was an absolute massacre. I just want to add here. The Eagles put up 31 points against the best defense in the NFL, who had only given up 17 points a game going into this game. The Eagles straight up domination from start to finish with all right, yes, notable injuries to Brock Purdy, but at the end of the day here, you have to say to yourself, the Eagles still put up 31 points. So who
Yeah.
like I'm not saying that this game couldn't have been closer.
Jalen Hurts throwing the ball much
Yeah.
at all. He just
Yeah.
ran the ball down their throats.
That absolute dominant performance. What were your takeaways from this one?
I think one of the big takeaways is what you're seeing a lot of people talk about is they need to figure something out where you can have that emergency third string quarterback on the roster for playoff games because that really took out. I'd be curious what the numbers are. I didn't honestly look them up, but I have a feeling that probably within about a quarter of Johnson and Purdy being knocked out, probably within 5 minutes of gameplay, a lot of people were disinterested in the game at that point. Probably
Yeah.
turned it off. The ratings, I'm sure, dropped. It just wasn't competitive at that point. Any team, it doesn't matter who it is, how many weapons you have. You stack 9, 10 guys in the box, you're going to be able to stop your opponent if they can't throw the ball.
Yeah. And
Another
especially
thing,
when you have like Christian McCaffrey got the headset in there, they put the headset in. It's like at that point, you're like, oh God, this isn't going to be good.
yeah,
Yeah. Keep going.
and the one play where McCaffrey did have the ball with an opportunity to throw it, God, it was exciting, but such a Charlie Foxtrot. I mean, it was ugly. Like, it didn't seem like they really had a clue what was going on. It was just
No.
straight dumpster fire. All right, and then I'm going to launch it downfield. I'm assuming nobody was even close because the camera didn't even bother to follow the football downfield at the game at that point. They just watched McCaffrey get smacked after he threw it.
Oh God. Yeah. That was, oh man. And they put again, even with that, right? So that definitely hurts the 49ers offensively, right? Not having that 100%. But at the end of the day, they didn't not have anyone on defense, and the Eagles still put up 31 points.
They
That's
did.
that's a that's dangerous. There, and I think we talked about this, yeah, like last week, which was like there are so many, like, yes, you look at the 49ers and you think, okay, you got all those weapons, but the Eagles have just the same amount of weapons.
Yep.
And yeah, all right. Defensively, they held them to 7 points on a third string. Chris McCaffrey had to be a quarterback. That still doesn't, I still shouldn't take away though from the fact that their offense put up 31 points.
Yeah, and man, Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, the rest of that offensive line, they just owned the best defensive line in football this year. Only team that's going to make an argument about that is Philly themselves.
Yes,
But that San Francisco D line has been dominant. They have owned the line of scrimmage all season long.
all season.
Philly's O line, they didn't care. They
No,
they're just every single play. I can't think of maybe 3 plays where there was a Philly player that was hitting the backfield with the ball.
no, nope.
They got pushed all night long, and they were a yard or two down on the field minimum the first time they had contact.
Yes, just giving
Just a
them at
fun
least,
winning
yeah.
football games right there.
Yeah, that is 100% great offensive line play by the Eagles. That way to, and again, against the top, one of the top defensive lines in the National Football League, not just that conference, not just the NFC, the National Football League, and they did that. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do. You know what, like you were kind of saying last week, they've been the best team in the NFL week after week. They've done the little things right. They have that there hasn't been a game where you're like, oh man, the Eagles aren't the real deal. Like they've just done it right week after week. And coming out of a bye week in the playoffs and then coming into this week, both being blowout games, the fashion that they've done them, I think you were bringing up the Eagles. They are the best team in football right now. They are dangerous.
There just isn't a weak spot on that team. You just look offensive line, defensive line, they're solid. They have weapons outside with Brown and Smith. They got Goddard at tight end. I mean, their running back room, it's deep. Sanders, when he's healthy, kid's a stud.
Right.
Boston Scott just finds ways to score touchdowns, it seems like.
Yes.
He'll only play 5 plays in the game, but he just finds a way to get in the end zone.
Yes.
And
Week after week.
yeah, go
Year after year.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time you forget about him, he reminds you that he's
So I go,
He'll do
Boston Scott's in the end zone again. Yeah,
it.
little Mighty Mouse, 5'7", 5'8", whatever he is. The guy just, it's like he's so slippery and just finds a way to stay behind his line and just wait for that hole to open it up.
So are you saying right now Boston Scott anytime touchdown for the Super Bowl is a green light?
And might have to do it.
Right? It just might have to be a green light just because.
That's just what he does is he scores touchdowns. That's the
Oh,
one they put him out there.
it's a green light. You heard it here first. Boston Scott, anytime touchdown, green light, go.
Didn't have Miles Sanders on the first touchdown last week.
There it is. Oh, speaking of which, the game doesn't come without a little bit of controversy though. That Devontae Smith catch. That I mean again, it doesn't matter looking at the score now, the way it is, but at the time that was a pretty big play considering it led to the first touchdown. I don't think it was a catch. I think it was a
Oh,
great play.
when I was watching it live, I looked over at my girlfriend. I said, "Yeah, I don't think he got that ball."
That was a great
And
heck
as
of a
soon as I
play.
saw somebody get up, start putting the fists together, I said, "Oh, yeah, that's some type of hand signal to hurry up and snap the ball." He's 100% telling you right now he didn't catch that ball. And
He was like, I know I didn't catch that ball.
Kyle Shanahan's got to do better in that situation.
Yeah, you gotta throw that flag. You gotta,
Yeah,
yeah, you
that's too
gotta.
big of a swing of momentum there. And when you see the guy that made the play giving a signal to hurry up and snap the ball to the rest of the team, he's 100% coming out and telling you, I dropped that ball. You need to hurry up and snap it. We just got one here.
Yeah, 100%. You are so correct on that one. Go. I didn't catch that one.
It
Oh
wasn't a subtle movement either. He's
no.
like full on going back and forth, like staring at Jalen Hurts the whole way as he's spreading over. Like, we got to get on the ball right now, right now.
This is not a catch. Go. We got one here. We got lucky here. But again, it didn't end up matter. The Eagles put on a show, and they punched their ticket very easily to the Super Bowl. That takes us to our AFC Championship game. Yes, disappointing. Didn't come out for the Bengals, which honestly, after everyone who I know I put on heavy TikToks and heavy videos, but so let the hate begin. Come on, give us your best shots. We deserved it. Travis Kelce, he went after the Cincinnati Mater. Though that was deserving. The Cincinnati Mariners should have definitely not have gotten involved the way he did. But no matter what, it was a great game. And if it goes to show you that I think we were kind of talking about it last week, could be a potential it's not a division rival, but this could be a rivalry that we're looking for. I mean, there's some not bad blood, but there's some definitely rival blood that's going on between these two organizations. I think everyone kind of understands that in the AFC, you got to go through Josh. There's some studs there. And now with Trevor Lawrence in the mix, you got Justin Herbert, whatever's going to happen to Lamar, you got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. The AFC is a tough, tough division. And those two teams put on a show.
In Cleveland.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson come again. It's a bad time to be in the AFC because there's a lot of talent, but the Bengals and Chiefs gave us one, lived up to the hype in every aspect. You know, those two teams battle it out. I do want to add, I know there's some controversy, but I want to just, as a Bengals fan, I want to give my spiel here. This thing, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to blame the refs on this one, and I'll tell you why. Joe Burrow had two opportunities. Okay, he had two opportunities to go and win that football game, at least put up 3 points or 7 points. Both the times he failed. Now, Joe Burrow did everything in that game that he hadn't done in the prior 9 or 10 weeks since the Browns game, right? The last time that Joe Burrow threw 2 picks was the Browns game. The last time that Joe didn't effectively run the offense and take that many sacks, which a lot of those sacks this weekend were on Joe. He held that ball way too long. They got away from the quick game. And I'll go back to the 2nd and 3 and the 3rd and 3, where both of his passes are deep balls. My friend, either run the ball or throw the quick routes, which you know you've been doing well all season. Why are they again, they did everything that they hadn't done all season, and it cost them. And at the end of the day, that's what happened. You can blame the refs, you can say the calls, whatever. Yeah, those happen, but there was a lot of other things that happened. And to that point, I know Joe's first interception, that was just a terribly thrown ball, just a bad play. I mean, again, he just did things that you can't do in that situation that he hadn't done in 10 weeks, and he made those mistakes. And that's essentially what caused the game. I think defensively, the Bengals played extremely well. I think with the short fields that they were given, I mean, you got to think the Bengals' first four possessions, I think, went interception, or my bad, punt, field goal, interception. And we still were down 3-6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even with all of that nonsense, the defense still with that against one of the best scoring offenses still. So defensively, I think they did outstanding. I really hope I saw there was some news that Lou Anarumo's got a couple head coaching offers. I hope that doesn't. I hope he can stay with Cincy. But overall, just a good game, and it's an awkwardly shaped ball in a rectangular field, and sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. But overall, great game. What were your kind of takeaways from this one?
Yeah. My big question, and I still haven't for sure got an answer on this, was did Mixon get hurt or why was he just not? I know he wasn't super effective early in the game. Yeah, and I think what 8 yards on 6 carries, his first 6 carries or something like that. But to completely abandon him all game, and not just him, but abandon the run game, it seemed like a lot there. I just I question Taylor a little bit on that because run game was dominant last week,
Yeah, and it
and
was dominant in spurts in the game when we did run in spurts, but it wasn't consistent enough to get anything going. It's like they just completely gave. You're right. They just kind of like completely gave up on it. But there were a couple runs where him or Samaje got 5-6 yards, but then they just went away from it totally, and they went deep. It wasn't even just going short routes. They were just really going deep. There were so many times. Joe, again, I'm blaming that on the offense. Joe sat back there for too long. Totally different than every other game where you just do the quick routes, you nickel and dime them, and establish a run game. They gave up completely on the run game, and we're going for deep balls only.
yeah. And the thing is, yeah, you guys have some great receivers at catching the ball on slants on short plays and making something big out of it. That's really more so been, I don't know, you guys bread and butter if you want to call it. It's not been just throwing deep bombs all
Yep,
season long.
100%. And
So
yeah, no, you're 100% right. And again, that's just they decide to do it against the team that you can't do those mistakes against. And shout out to the Chiefs, man. Congrats to them. Pat Mahomes gets to go to his uh third now Super Bowl. Um,
yeah, they
but
got what they. I'll say it as not the Bengals fan.
yeah,
The there was a lot of home cooking going on in
there
on
were
Sunday.
some questionable calls.
I'll be the same. I won't blame the outcome of the game on it, but there were a lot of no calls and a lot of calls that 9 times out of 10 don't get called that way. That just
One,
happened to go in Kansas City's favor.
I know one call that I've never even seen before, that 3rd and 9 with the
Yeah.
whole stoppage of the game. Still have no idea why they stopped the game. I don't know if it was the ref said there was something with the clock. And I just go to wonder though, if the Chiefs go ahead and pick up that first down, do they replay it then?
No way in hell they do.
Right? So is that only like it? I don't know, and you won't ever know, but it is what it is.
Ohio professional football teams all about firsts. Cleveland Browns were the first team to lose a game because they overturned a play after another snap had happened and after another full play had happened. They went back 2 plays back in, I believe it was 02, overturned a Quincy Morgan catch that would have given us a good chance to run it into the end zone from the 2 yard line. Against Jacksonville would have sent us to the playoffs for the first time since coming back in '99. And now you guys are at least to my knowledge, the first team to ever stop a team on third down and then without any penalty, the refs give that team another chance to redo that play.
For no reason. For no
It really
reason.
stopped them again without a ticky tack holding call.
That holding call was really, really bad. I will admit that. And then yeah, that the end of the game, that was a heartbreaker too. But again, there's so many other things that happened before that. But yes, you are right. Those were definitely some questionable calls. Nonetheless, I will have to say it. Bengals, thank you for another great season. It was fun to watch you all. But on to the Super Bowl matchup of the year now. Chiefs versus Eagles, man. I want to hear your thoughts first. How do you think this one's going to play out? What are your kind of first initial thoughts with this one?
I've said since finding out which two teams are in it that I really don't think it's going to be a close game. I know Kansas City's good, but Kelsey's not at 100%. He's dealing with. I mean, it's the professional football league, and we're going into the Super Bowl. Everybody's dealing with some injuries. But if Mahomes is hobbling around the field like he was Sunday, that Eagles defensive line is just going to eat him alive. He may not make it through the game.
Right.
We may have a Chad Henne sighting in the Super Bowl, but I really think I'm saying Eagles win by 13 plus.
Ooh, I like that. I know I was kind of talking to you earlier. It's kind of reminds me of the Bucks Chiefs game from 2 years ago. Again, I think the NFC's been so overshadowed by the NFC South there, them having such bad records.
Yep.
But and it kind of belittles the top team. What again, man? I think the NFC matchup between the Eagles and 49ers were the two best teams in the NFC. Again, you got number one
Yep.
defense against one of the best offenses. But at the end of the day, I think the Eagles defense shows that they're where they are in the top of the league, and their offense still is putting up points against the best Again, you have to think to yourself, who's better, the 49ers defense or the Chiefs defense? And on paper, it's got to say the Niners, and they still put up those points. So I think if the Eagles offensively just do what they do, I think you're right. I think this is a 13-point game. I know for me, so I've already locked in. So these are some bets. I've locked in Eagles at -2.5. I love that right now. And here is the big poppy from the 239 bet. This is the Nukem bet. All right. This is the keep the change nuclear warhead bet from Big Poppy. All right.
Let's hear it.
Over two passing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
Over on the yards, passing yards for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia spread. That gets you at +330. I already slammed that. Three-way parlay with a couple player props in the spread. -2. I locked it in. That's right. That is a Nukem bet right there. That's gonna be my pick for this. What are some player props that you think we should be looking out for here?
So, you got me on now. After we get off this, I'm going to have to place my Boston Scott anytime touchdown.
Dude, that's a given. Count that.
I'm sure it's not low. I'm guessing somewhere in the 900 to 1,000
Gotta
range.
be. Gotta
Easy.
be. Nuke it. Green light. All green light there.
And other one I'm thinking is Jalen Hurts is going to get a rushing touchdown. So Jalen Hurts with any time as well. I think you might parlay that.
And because he can strike from he's not just a sneak 'em guy. I mean, a lot of that offense is kind of designed about him having those draw and power plays or those quarterback sweep plays. That he can strike from a lot of yardages away. So I like that too. I like Jalen Hurts anytime.
They get inside the 2 yard line, they're gonna run a quarterback sneak. And if it's first down and you stop them on first down, they're gonna run it again on second down. They've shown us that last week. So I think that could be one of your safest, if not the safest bet of the Super Bowl is Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Um, What else? Any other ones?
And you know Kelsey's going to get his.
I
I
like
think
his
he's
over receptions. I like his over
say
receptions.
I don't know what the over under is on receptions, but if it's anywhere in the 5-6 range, kind of feel safe going with the
I'm
over.
seeing it right now at 7, over
Yes.
7, which I
That's
still like. He's hit that pretty consistently.
yeah. And the other thing is, if Hardman's hurt, I mean, who all do they have at this point at receiver?
Yeah,
They got
Juju's.
Travis Kelce and some other guys out there trying to spread the field to get Travis Kelce open.
Yeah, that's it. That's really it.
Shout out to Cleveland Heights,
Yeah, right.
seeing the first brothers matchup in the Super Bowl with Jason and Travis Kelce.
So that's a good question, man. What? All right, because I have a brother. You have a brother. What do you think's going through their minds right now?
Man, I mean, just even first, like getting both of them being in the NFL at the same time, or any professional sports, like playing at that high of a level and then getting to the Super Bowl and going up against your brother. I I don't know if that makes it like a win-win or like winning that much better and losing that much worse because either depending on your relationship with your brother, uh, you're always obviously going to be a little happy for him. You're going to be happy for him no matter what. So yeah, you have that. If you lose, your brother still won. But every time that you go to Thanksgiving, every time you go to Christmas, every birthday party for the rest of your lives, you're probably going to have to hear about how they beat you in the Super Bowl.
Right? I mean, I'm just imagining if me and my brother had went there. Like, yeah, we have a good relationship, but like, I just feel like, yeah, this is one of those times. Like, do you talk to him during this week? Like, I think you keep it strictly business. Like, this is like that one time where you're like, look, I love you, but like, this is it. This is the one time where like we gotta. This is it. I mean, this is as big as you could. It's not just like a regular season game. This is the Lombardi. This is the big one. You know, like this isn't a no regular season game. Like this is, like you said, this is etch your name in the halls of glory right here. You know, people get remembered from this game. Even the ones that aren't, you know,
Good or bad.
Hall of Famers. You win a Super Bowl. I mean, that's a big freaking deal. And
Trent
yeah,
Dilfer, Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'll never forget that.
right. T. Dilfer, man, he knows. Hey, he is the legend at being able to just be on the right team at the right time. Legendary. So yeah, man. So yeah, I mean, I'm going pretty heavy Eagles here. I would say I think they just defensively, I think they're good. I think they'll come up with a great game plan to keep Mahomes contained. I think there's been a lot of teams that have shown. I mean, again, at the end of the day, the Bengals still held that offense. I mean, they get 23 points, but they held that offense to 20 points. And I would say that the Eagles defense is just as good as the Bengals, if not better. So you look at that and you have to say, okay, we just have to kind of mimic the similar game plan, but we have better players and they should be able to do a pretty good job. And then offensively, you just do what I think if there's any good takeaways from there. I think the Eagles just don't do what you're not, don't do what's out of your element. Don't try to be fancier. Just do what
No,
keep it simple, stupid. You know, like keep it what you've done all year. Run the ball really well. Use your different weapons with Hurts, and then you got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith out there. Use the weapons that you have. Don't try to be cute and fancy. There, I don't think this is. I know, like the Chiefs, they tried to do that little, play where Kelsey caught it and then tried to ladder. You don't have to do that stuff against these guys. You guys are good as is on paper. Ain't no ain't no need to be cute. I think they just do what they've been done. I think the Eagles, like you said, I could see this. I like that alternate line, 13 or more. I kind of like that. And I bet you could get some pretty good odds at that.
oh yeah. So other one that actually my resident Eagles fan Kane that I worked with, he told me a bet that he placed just popped in my head. So if I remember correctly, I think the odds were plus 1,300 on Hassan Reddick to win Super Bowl MVP.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
similar performance to like he had last week. 2 sacks, forced fumble, fumble recovery. Last time a defensive player did something similar to that, it's current Buffalo Bill,
Von
Von.
Miller. There it is. That's a good one.
If you remember correctly, he won Super Bowl MVP.
For the Broncos, correct? And speaking of that, that's a good segue. Broncos hired head coach Sean Payton for a first round draft pick included in now a couple other draft picks, but more importantly, a first round for this upcoming year. This is the first time that I've ever heard of a coach getting that many draft. I mean, have you? I mean, again, we've only been on this earth for a short time, but that seemed pretty crazy to get a first round draft pick, 2 first round draft picks. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Sean Payton's a great coach, but there is such a dumpster fire in Denver, it seemed like this year, that I don't know if a coach can save that.
Dude,
You have
you got to
that
get rid of
doesn't
Russell Wilson.
respect each other. Team that doesn't respect their quarterback. They clearly were on the sidelines laughing, poking fun at him, really just talking shit to him this year. They got a lot of looking in the mirror to do in Denver before anything's going to get fixed there.
Yeah,
And on top of that, Russ looked old this
yeah.
year. He looked like he's lost 2.5, 3 steps. And they owe that man a lot of money at this point, a lot of it guaranteed.
Yeah.
So good luck to Sean Payton. Don't know if that might have been the best spot for you to come out of retirement to go.
He definitely has his hands full over there. And I think it really does come down to what are you going to do at quarterback for Russell Wilson? I don't think Russell Wilson's your guy. I think he was a good experiment. I think there was definitely some opportunity, but I think Russ's true colors shown and that he's not the guy anymore. He used to be. He was great.
He
Super Bowl champ,
was great.
but he's not the guy anymore. And I mean, the amount of Thursday night and actually not even just the amount of primetime games we had to watch that man this year.
Shoving the Broncos down our throat.
My God, that was just like this NFL season was great. I wanna get on that real quick because we're running out of time. The NFL season this year was great. There were some epic games, comebacks, wins, upsets, blowout. There were some great things, but those primetime games with the Broncos were the worst football that we ever had to watch in the last decade.
They did that to us when we had no other game to watch either. So you just had no choice to sit there and suffer through it. It was like,
Oh
man,
my God.
like when I went to St. Clements and I had to go to mass for the second time that week and hear the same thing over and over.
Like I already heard that I already know what's happening here. Oh God. Yeah, that was bad. That was awful. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week to give our final updates about the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and the Eagles.
Legal.
But before you leave, please, if you haven't checked us out, we have our Recliner Sports Report merch store. As you can see, Robbie's rocking the nice quarter zip. The quarter zip will make you look professional, but also ready to party. That's the most important part, is ready to party. And then I got our nice hoodie on.
Give me one.
Yeah, right. We will be launching a Valentine's Day line here soon. So for all the females out there, if you're looking to get your man a good Valentine's gift, why not get him something that he's going to love, like a Keep the Change hoodie, t-shirt, or quarter zip. Also, please check us out at BetUS. You can join for a 125% match on your first pick. So check them out over there. And for a lot of our picks, for more of just our daily picks, we also throw our daily picks on Twitter at recliner_report. Also, if you're in the Ohio area, Robbie, give us a little rundown on what we got for cars going on, buddy.
So I'm at Matthews Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram in Marion. Got a lot of new inventory recently. Our truck row is about as far as you can see. We got some new Wranglers, couple Gladiators, Grand Cherokees galore, and really nice pre-owned inventory too. I think just under 100 cars on the lot pre-owned. So whatever it is you're looking for, if we don't have it, may come about soon. So just reach out to me and see what we can do to help out.
How can they get a hold of you, buddy?
So you can find me on Facebook at Rob Purdy at Matthews Dodge, or reach me at my email at purdyrob10 at gmail.com. That's PURDYROB10 at gmail.com. Or you can reach me on Twitter at Cleveland Fan 10. Anywhere you want, reach out. Cell phone's 330-316-9559. Here to help any way I can.
And now is the right time to get a new car or used car, because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to get any cheaper. So get it now while it's down, because I do know car price. Someone who just got a new car himself, car prices are down right now. So now is the time to buy, because I know dealerships are looking for trade-ins because there's a lot of manufacturing holdups. So I'm sure you can get a good deal on a trade-in. Ravi will hook you up with a nice brand new car, low miles, and I'll have you. And again, you're gonna need, come on, especially if you're in Ohio, a truck or a Jeep, that's perfect for out there. That's perfect for all time, especially as someone who has a Mustang. That's not a good up north car. The trucks and the Jeeps are good, but I'll tell you what, even the Chargers, man, I got to test drive one of those Chargers. Those things are beasts in the snow too. So go hit him up, get yourself a new whip. Come on, treat yourself. You've deserved it. You've had a great 2022. Start your 2023 off with a brand new car or a used car. Well, thank you everyone again for watching. We love you. We support you. Smash that like and subscribe. And as always, don't forget, keep the change.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
See you, Ravi.
See you, Mac.